Hi, everybody. I'm James Escarcega. This is Fred Robledo. And welcome to our 2-minute drill as we get you ready for the quarterfinals of the CIF playoffs. And we could probably excuse Freddie. We're not too enthusiastic because we were all crushed by the news Sunday night of the passing of Lou Ferrar.
Yeah, and I think we've known for a while that he was in a tough fight, James.
Mm-hmm.
He's, I thought Jim Singheiser, the coach at Arroyo, summed it up best. I put that in my story. When you think of the Mount Rushmore of coaches of the San Gabriel Valley, there is no Mount Rushmore. He's the mountain.
Yeah.
And I thought he couldn't have put it any better. He meant so much to so many, not just a football coach. Charter Oak football was such a family, for so many years.
No question.
I think he treated a lot of players like that. I can't tell you how many times at sign ceremonies over the years when they'd have players, and they'd always get a lot out. You would see him give a guy a hug, and he'd get emotional and start crying.
Yep.
I mean, he was really close
Yeah.
to a lot of his players, and this is a real tough time for all of them. I feel for Dom, his grandson, their whole family, his wife Nancy.
Yeah.
Prayers to all of them.
Yeah. And I think I was just thinking about this coming in. I think it was a year and a half ago. He had to bury his mom, who made it, I think, almost to 100 years old. Mm-hmm. So this all came suddenly too, Freddie. The leukemia came over this summer. They had a blood drive for him to see if they could get a match, which they couldn't. And it's a tough day for everybody here. And I have a lot. From being in the inside, I've known Big Lou forever.
Yeah.
I just don't think Freddie. There was a photo I put that Keith Birmingham did. This, I was years and years ago. I think it was 2008. The photo took of Big Lou, Steve Bogan, Greg Gainwell, and I call them the three horsemen of the San Gabriel Valley. And I just don't think we'll ever see that era ever again.
Probably not. I mean, it's just high school sports aren't set up that way anymore, James. Where people stay there forever. But isn't that something with Big Lou? He was able to get to a football game. He was able to be there when they had the ceremony. He wasn't there, but he was able to watch the video presentation when they named the field after him.
That's awesome. And I think they're going to credit the last game that they had against Walnut, where they won in his name. So he'll be able, he'll leave as a winner. Yeah. I think that should be the most appropriate thing. Yeah. We do not know when the funeral arrangements will be. We will tweet them out once we know. I know Charter Oak is working on them right now. The family is, and of course it will be well attended. I have a feeling it was just as well attended as Glenn Martinez's was over the spring. All right, Freddie, let's get to work here. As Big Lou would say, the show must go on, and it will go on Friday night. And let's start with Division I, obviously. And this is, what a tall task here for Bishop Amonte. They take on Mater Dei, the number one team.
Bryce Young, Mater Dei, undefeated. Not only is Mater Dei undefeated, they've really just J. Sarah, the only team that beat Bishop Amonte. Yeah. They absolutely crushed J. Sarah. Yeah. The only semi-close game they had was St. John Bosco,
but even then,
who's the number 3 team in the country.
But even then, it was out of control early.
We've talked about it all year long. Was Bishop Amonte going to make the Division I playoffs? And if they did, who would they play? Would they follow Division II? Let's just say this about Bishop Amonte: they've had a great season. They're 9-1. Yep. Back-to-back undefeated Mission League champions. This is an incredibly tall order they have on Friday, having to play Mater Dei in the first round. This is what they wanted, though. They didn't want to be in Division II.
No.
Like Steve Haggerty said, we're going to go down there, we're going to swing our sword, and we're going to see what happens. You got to think that it's going to. You got to think it's going to be a game, though, James, that Mater Dei is just too good in just about every area that you can imagine when it comes to a football team. Yep. I'm just not sure if they can make it a competitive game. Damian Moore wasn't there when they lost to J. Sarah earlier in the year. Neither was Dyson McCutcheon. They both kind of rested out that game.
Which, in hindsight, was probably the right thing to do.
Was the right thing to do, and they should both be ready to go. Dyson McCutcheon, even when there was a little injury on Friday to Moore, who we expect to be back. It wasn't anything serious. They just wanted to hold him out. They were going to win that game in hand. They already knew where they're at. Yeah. You saw McCutcheon really take over and show what he's capable of doing. I'm wondering if together in the backfield, that little duo of they could be a yin and yang and be a surprise. And just you got to keep the ball out of Bryce Young's hands.
Can't make it a shootout
as much as you can. So
Yeah,
I
you can't make
expect.
it,
I don't
yeah.
think Bishop's going to throw the ball a lot.
Yep.
I think they're going to drink their bottle and get tough. See if their offensive line can do anything to give those guys room to run. That's their only chance. But you got to pick Mater Dei.
You do. It is for sure. And this is a tall task indeed for the Lancers on Friday night. So that we'll just move on here. We'll talk about, there's a subject we want to talk about with the Lancers, but we'll talk about it after we're all done here. So let's go to Division 3, Freddie. And I think this is the best area matchup of the night in my, just pure football here. It doesn't have to do with regionalities or anything. Edison is playing La Habra. This is a rematch of a first-round game 2 years ago in which La Habra lost on a 2-point play in the double overtime. Boy, La Habra looked good last week too, Freddie. They defeated Capistrano Valley pretty handily, 42-3. I like these guys. I think they got it. They can get it. They're at home.
And I think, at the end of last year when you knew what was coming back, the quarterback and
with Zanelli and with Phillips and all these guys.
You knew they were coming back this year, and this was going to be their year to make a run at a championship. And I like them. That game that you talked about, that was 2 years ago. So much has changed since then.
Yep.
I really like what La Habra's doing. They treated the first round like it was a freeway league game. They just kind of rolled through it.
That's great.
It's going to get more competitive now, James. I mean, obviously, when you get in Division 3, you get to the quarterfinals, all of these games are tough. Edison's always been a traditionally tough team. What's their record?
They are 7-3.
7-3. I mean, it's going to be a difficult game. This isn't going to be one of those walk in the parks. But I've liked La Habra since the beginning of the season. To make a run, and I'm staying with them now.
So am I. This game has a 7 o'clock kickoff. And the reason why I'm mentioning that, we're going to go through some of these games. They have 7:30 kickoffs, different sites. So just as you're following along, or just if there's a game that you're going to go to, we'll try to make sure and get you the right information here. I really like La Habra to make it to the finals, too. I think they're going to be good to go. Division 5. And let's first talk about my upset special of the day, Freddie. And that is St. Paul is traveling to Yorba Linda. They're going into Orange County. They are meeting a team that runs the Veer, that is coached by a very good coach in Jeff Bailey. His teams are always well disciplined. They play hard. This is a much closer game than I think people will give credit for. As a matter of fact, I'm picking Yorba Linda to win here, Freddie.
Why you're picking Yorba Linda after everything that St. Paul has done this year? I think St. Paul's only 2 losses were legitimate losses, and only one of them counts on paper. I think the other one was forfeited from the Nordhoff game.
That is correct.
I like St. Paul. I think they've showed a lot all season. I think people have kind of been sleeping on them a little bit, maybe because of their schedule, because their only 2 losses were to the teams that they lost to. Mm-hmm. But you look at everyone else, James, the way they've handled them this year. I like St. Paul to move on and get to the semifinals.
It's just they run the Veer. They run that Veer offense. You don't see that a lot in high school football these days. And again, this is Jeff Bailey, being coached by Jeff Bailey, who used to be at El Dorado, who used to have those titanic battles against Charter Oak and South Hills 10, 11 years ago. This is a pretty good team.
Yeah, I think this Division 5, right place, right time for St. Paul to make their run.
Cool. This game will be at Valencia High School in Placentia, 7 o'clock kickoff on Friday. The other area game here is Glendora at Etiwanda. I don't think there's a team, Freddie, that was more disappointing in a loss than Diamond Ranch. They were upset by, I don't want to say upset, but they really literally gave the game up to Etiwanda with turnovers and everything in Glendora.
Yeah,
49-17 over Lompoc.
And that's great. And I think this is a break for Glendora. And I say that because I thought Diamond Ranch would have given Glendora a heck of a game. I might have even picked Diamond Ranch over Glendora in that game.
Yeah.
You look at Etiwanda in the baseline. I know that they're a good team. They're not. I think did Damien beat them or that?
I believe Etiwanda.
It was a good game.
It was a good game.
But I think if you would have asked Glendora, a few weeks ago when you're looking at this, that you get Etiwanda in the second round, they'd have taken that in a second in this division.
No question.
So I really like them in this spot. No disrespect to Etiwanda. I just think that for Glendora, this is the right opponent at the right time to give yourself a chance at the semifinals. So
Cal Preps has it 40-20 in favor of Glendora.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
Good spot for Glendora.
That sounds about right for me. Division 6, and this is the game that Freddie will be attending Friday night. It is probably, I think, the other game of the night. And from
this is the game of the night, James. This is the game of the night.
All right, you got it. You calling it. You got it.
Undefeated Lucerna at Los Altos.
Wow. Boy, what a win by Los Altos last week, going deep in the heart of Orange County.
The St. Margaret's, I'm telling you, those schools, that's a good win for them to go down there.
17-7.
Yeah.
And there was a message, by the way, that Travis Brown wanted me to tell you.
What's that?
Keep picking against them.
Okay, well, I'm picking against you on Friday night. Nobody's touching Lucerna in this division.
No.
I still think that they're going to go all the way through and win it. I think they're having that type of year. They have a super quarterback, James, and whenever you have a quarterback like that, sometimes in this division, in one of these divisions, they can carry you a long way. And he's done nothing to disappoint or let you believe that the moment is too big for him. Los Altos has had a great year, but this is Lucerna's game to lose.
I agree. 31-21, Cal Preps has it. Boy, Andy George has his team playing really well right now. This could be the year for them. An upset special, I'm just going to give you, Freddie, at the top of that bracket. Crespi defeats Ayala on Friday night.
Crespi defeats Ayala.
Yeah, it has everything to do with heart and my bias.
Something that some last place Mission League team gets to go ahead and make a.
Well, they were the second place team in the Angeles League.
Come on. Okay. Oh, I'm thinking of your other school. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's okay.
Alamany.
Yes, sir. Division 9. Here we go. We'll start with the top half of the bracket here with Foothill, the top seed, coming from Santa Ana, another Orange County team, heading down to the San Gabriel Valley. We've seen this story too many times. The Orange County schools come down here, and the next thing you know it, their season ends. And they've got San Dimas, who's probably playing the best ball of the season so far.
Yeah, I was at the San Dimas game last Friday.
They were happy to see you, too.
I picked against them, and man, the hecklers, they were all over me around the press box. I almost thought there was going to be a Robledo chant.
No signs, though, huh? No signs,
No, but they came out, if they can move the football the way that they did against LaSalle, then they can beat these teams. Teams like you said, you mentioned the Veer earlier, and having to face that. Nobody likes to face
the wing
T either, and they do that well. This is the number one seed. I don't know a lot about Foothill other than they're undefeated, right? But San Dimas is going to get them at home, and San Dimas is going to like this. I'm taking Foothill to win that game. I'm not calling the upset.
I'm not either.
There you go, San Dimas.
You got two guys at the desk.
Now you've got a real great shot of advancing because we're both picking against you.
Yeah. The other game at the bottom half of the bracket here, I think this is another really interesting game here. Monrovia is heading to South Orange County to play a Newport Harbor team that at one time, Freddie, was one of the juggernauts in Orange County. I mean, I believe Los Altos beat them like 15 years ago for a CIF title. Then they're not the same Newport Harbor team we've seen in the past, where it's two backs, one running back, and they pound you. They are a spread football team now. And
a lot of things happened in 10 years, James. 10 years ago, West Covina was putting 70 points on Lucerna.
That is true.
In a championship game.
True, but I do like Monrovia here. They got the athletes, and and there's a belief level I think that Chris Williams has instilled in these players. I like them a little bit.
I like Monrovia too. Like I said, their only loss was to Los Altos earlier this year.
Yep.
And that was a game they probably should have won, or they were in the game. And they seem to have gotten better, and they're playing with a lot of confidence right now, James. You see how easy they won last week. So, yeah, I like Monrovia to move on as well.
Okay. Division 11. And
so it starts to get interesting.
Ooh, this is going to get real interesting here. And we're going to first talk about Pasadena's 47-31 win. I think we both picked them to win over Valley Christian of Cerritos last week.
Yeah.
And they catch the biggest break in the world, which is Beaumont, which was the top seed in the division, was defeated by Linfield Christian 47-42.
What's Linfield Christian's record? Do you have it right there?
They are 8-3, Coach.
8-3. Yeah.
Man, how do you not like the Bulldogs at home here, Freddie?
Yeah, well, you say catch a break that, that's the problem with some of these seeds sometimes, especially when you get down to these Division 11, 12s, and 13s.
Yeah.
You really don't know for sure. Beaumont had one of those years where everybody was putting them up there.
Yep.
This just tells me that maybe Linfield Christian is the real deal.
Okay.
They're 8-3. They have the same record as Pasadena.
Okay.
But, because of this division and because of the athletes that Pasadena has, because, they had a 14-0 lead in a team like Crescenta Valley, they've showed that they're very, very, very capable. And now that Linfield Christian has, done the hard part, I like Pasadena to win this game.
How do you not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which just also sets up the narrative on the just right for the game right below it, which is Chafee is at Muir. We're going to have Donald Morrison cover this game for us. I'm going to be at the Pasadena game, by the way. I'm going to try to work them into the semis. But Freddie, here we go with Muir again, boy. The defense shined on Friday night in their win over Brentwood.
And it seems like, James, when you look at the last few weeks, defense is going to have to carry this team through the playoffs and to a championship if that's what they're going to do. And
can I say this?
Yeah.
I've always thought they're deep, and I think the first time I forget I was in the Burbank game.
Yeah,
and I said this was the best defensive team I've seen all season. They're showing.
Yeah. I mean, they're this is the game that they won last week. I mean, they're doing it with an interception at the 1, and a guy's running it back to the end zone.
Yep.
Their offense is sputtering. Their offense hasn't. It's hit and miss, and I don't know if it's a big play offense. It doesn't sound like they can run the ball with a lot of consistency against anybody.
You're right.
But their defense has been nails, and sometimes in games like this, that's enough. But as you go further in the playoffs, James, and you face these better offenses, they're going to be able to put some points on the board. It always happens. Muir's going to need to be able to score some points. They're not going to keep winning 14-7, 21-7, 7-0. I think they've got to score. I like them in this game. And if they win and Pasadena wins, that semifinal, Pasadena is the host team.
Yes, they are.
Semifinals.
And I have been told the game will be at PCC.
They would play it at PCC.
They would play. I have been told.
They could have played it at home, but that's a good spot to do it at.
I think it's the best spot because you want to maximize the dollars.
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah.
And what a night that would be, Freddie.
Wow.
I don't think the city will be the same after that night, so to speak. But we have to get there first.
That would be the first PHS Muir game not at the Rose Bowl that I could ever remember.
Probably, I think the last, Tony Brooks told me 87, 88 was the last time that they had something like this in the semi.
Because I don't know, because it's been at the Rose Bowl, that game every single year. That I don't even, that would be incredible to play that at PCC.
Incredible. Here's another game that's it's fairly interesting as well. Rancho is at Hemet. And we've always liked El Rancho here, Freddie.
Yeah.
Adrian Medrano's done a fantastic job. One of their losses was to Northview. The other loss was to Lucerna. No slouches whatsoever. They have to go to the desert to play Hemet.
Hemet's record is
6-4, Coach.
6-4. Yeah. I like El Rancho in this spot.
I do too.
I've always thought this Division 11 was the San Gabriel Valley's best division to have teams go deep.
Yes, sir.
And I do think you have a situation where we have 3 of our area teams in the Final Four with El Rancho being in the bottom half of that bracket. So
wouldn't that be
I like El Rancho.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yep.
Division 12. Here we go. We'll start with the top seed, El Monte, hosting Nordhoff. If you haven't had a chance to read Aaron Talesian's column, he made a great point about Nordhoff. This is probably El Monte's best opponent they've seen this year.
Yeah, El Monte, when you really look at it, they haven't had a super tough opponent this year, James.
But that's not their fault.
No, that's what the schedule was. They've been in, I the only time I saw them this year was the Arroyo game, and they kind of sputtered a little bit there. Mm-hmm. There was some nervous moments in last week's first round where that game was close for a little while before they pulled away.
60-21 over Ocean View.
Gosh, this is where it's going to start to get tough. We're going to find out if they're the real deal. But I've been I've liked El Monte all year. I think now that they're in this spot, that you're going to see the best that they've got, and they're going to rise to the occasion. It's a good thing that this game is at home.
Yep.
Because I think they can get by this and get to the next round.
Cal Preps has a 42-28 in favor of El Monte over Nordhoff. The game right below it is also another very intriguing game here, Freddie. Rio Hondo Prep on the road going to the Inland Empire to take on Jurupa Hills. Cal Preps actually has Jurupa Hills winning 31-27. I did put the cautionary note on the Saturday morning quarterback before you start dreaming about El Monte versus Rio Hondo Prep. The Carriers have to take care of some business here, Freddie.
Yeah. And they took care of some business last week. They won the first round
41-22.
Pretty easy. I don't think anyone thought that they were going to just roll and do that. But you got to remember, they're the other undefeated team. Rio Hondo Prep. Ever since they put that whipping on Arroyo the way they did, that kind of opened everybody's eyes, they haven't slowed down. They had the close game against Pasadena Poly. That's a rivalry. Pasadena Poly is a good team. If not for what happened in their league, they'd have been one of the playoff teams in this division too.
Correct.
Wow, am I going to pick? You might as well. I'd love to see a Rio Hondo Prep El Monte semifinal. I think everybody is hoping for that. I didn't even see who who won the it would be at Rio Hondo Prep.
It would be at Fairfield, yes,
because
sir.
they are on the road this
Yeah.
week. So Rio Hondo Prep would get that game.
They'll be the
Whether
home
they
team.
would play it at the Care Youth because of the seating capacity, I don't know. But they would
That's
be
an
the
interesting point.
they would be the designated home team. Yeah, there's not a lot of stands over there.
Yeah, that's an
Heck, I
interesting
say play it at the district if there's nobody left.
Wow, that would be pretty good.
That would be nice.
That would be very, very nice.
Yes.
Division 13, and I think, Freddie, the hottest team right now in the San Gabriel Valley is Alhambra. Holy mackerel, they just scored it just feels like they just scored another touchdown right now against Diamond Bar. Their offense was absolutely rolling on Friday night in their win over Diamond Bar 49-21. They're on the road.
They were losing 14-0 in that game.
They were behind early again. Kind of concerning, but with the way that offense
They always come back. This is like the third time they've come
it's
back.
that offense. They run that the air raid offense, Freddie, and that offense just gives you a chance every time to get back into a game.
Yeah.
This game is at Orange Coast College, by the way, on Friday night. They take on Calvary Chapel of Santa Ana. Go.
Yeah. What did they win by last week, Calvary?
They won 28-20 over Santa Ana Valley.
Yeah, and they're a 9-2 team. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough. I'll tell you what. I think this is where it ends for Alhambra.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I
You want to write that down there on your little scratch sheet there, buddy?
Calvary
Calvary Chapel. You can put CCAA.
C Chapel.
Yeah.
And
There
I've
you
been
go.
thinking about this. I haven't liked some of Alhambra's starts.
Okay.
I haven't liked some of the games that they've been in where you think they're going to crush them and they have to come back.
Yep.
I don't think you could keep playing football that way.
Okay.
I think they're a very good team who you said who can score a lot of points, but they give up a lot of points. They have the capability of giving up a lot of points.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I think on the road, James, this is where
The road meets?
one of our number one seeds go down.
Okay, interesting. I'll take the Moors though. I just like it. I just like the way that they're. They just. I mean, at any moment they can just put up 28 points and they're right back into everything, so to speak. The other game below it, Camel Sacred Heart of Mary taking on Ramona, another team going to the Inland Empire. Can't say much about the job that C.J. Martinez has done at Camel Sacred Heart of Mary. Freddie, last year 1-9.
Yeah.
This year 8-3.
They're another one of the feel-good stories that we probably
Awesome.
haven't talked about enough, James.
No.
Camel Sacred Heart has had an absolutely great season. That was a big win for them
31-22 over Rim of the World.
Yeah.
That's a big win.
in the first round.
Yeah.
I think this is where it ends for them, though.
Okay.
I think it's been a great season. I think they've, over-accomplished what a lot of people thought. And there just comes a point where you hit a ceiling, and I think they might have hit their ceiling.
Ramona has defeated Rosemead in the first round, 35-28. If you have a chance to go on YouTube, folks, and watch Jonathan Camus' video he did on Camel Sacred Heart of Mary, it's a great video they did on Camp Chronicles. It was really well done. Division 14, Freddie. Let's talk about Sierra Vista, 68-0 over Riverside Prep.
They think they're still in the Montview League.
Holy mackerel! But the sledding is a little tougher this week here. But
Yeah, it does. I mean,
they
but
played
is it-
Aurora, first place team from the Garden Grove.
And what's their record? That's
9-2.
9-2. So
Yeah.
they haven't played a team this good since the Baldwin Park game that they had to rally from
Yeah.
almost 3 touchdowns
Yes, sir.
to come back. But they are way better right now. If they played that Baldwin Park game again, James, I bet they beat them by 3 touchdowns.
Well, they probably have a
Sierra
couple-
Vista seems to have really gotten better week by week by week, and you could tell that just by the scores and the confidence that they're playing with,
Yep.
the points that they're putting on the board. You go ahead. They won that like their modern day, winning that first round the way they rolled through it. It's hard to pick against them when they're scoring points the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I like them. I mean, on the field they're 11-0. I don't care if it says 6-5 on the sheet. They're 11-0. Nobody's beaten them this year, and I like them to get into the semifinals.
Ganesha is playing St. Pius X, the St. Matthias Academy, who's the top-seeded team in the division. Ganesha scored 71 points last week, Freddie, in defeating Workman 71-43. Kudos to them. They're making...
Well, I kind of had a feeling they would beat Workman, and like I said, when I saw Ganesha play earlier in the year against Sierra Vista,
Yeah.
that was a really good game for 3 quarters. They can move the ball offensively. They do a really good job. It's Division 14, so you really don't know what you're going to get. You don't know they're playing the number 1 seed, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you don't know what the number 1 seed really is. Ganesha's played Sierra Vista, the number 2 seed, and they played them in a game that, if a few things go their way, they might be able to win that game. So I'm not picking Ganesha to win, but I wouldn't just say that this is a game where the season's over either.
It's going to be a much closer game
Yeah.
than usual. So that's the lineup we have on Friday night. I can tell you right now, we haven't filled out all of our assignments yet, but so far we have 11 of the games that we went through are going to be covered either by ourselves or by our family of newspapers on Friday night, which is a good lineup. So don't be behind a paywall this week, folks. If you want to get to it, we have a few minutes, Freddie. I want to talk about this playoff division structure we have here. I think we have problems. Again, Freddie, we have teams that are 1-9, 2-8 making the playoffs, and most importantly, we have a coaches poll that was overridden, Freddie. It's a big problem for me. It just goes to the legitimacy of what's going on here. When the coaches make Bishop Mont number 7, and then they say, okay, and then the section says, I know you're number 8, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I talked to Tom Simmons about that, and his thing was, this isn't anything new. These are things that they've done in the past. I've never heard of this before.
I have never either.
Where they call it though a coach's CIF poll, not a CI or a CIF coaches poll.
Why have one? And if you're going to just
and that impact. But at the end of the day, it was gonna for Bishop Mamada it would have been Mater Dei or St. John Bosco. Either way, you got to go down and swing your sword. But you're right, James. I think if you're going to have a coaches poll, just let the coaches vote. If they make a switch at the end of the season, and that's the way the votes go, then they make a switch at the end of the season. You don't say that just because they've been here for 4 weeks straight that you're not going to change it, even though the coaches change it that way. They may have seen something in their scores or in their games that,
or they watch film.
Like
a lot of these coaches watch film, and they see what you see on film. There's no lie. Here's the other problem I have here, Freddie. So you have a school that's like rolling. Okay, they did everything that they had this year. Winning record. They earned an at-large, not an at-large, but an automatic qualifier to get into the playoffs. And then you're told on Selection Sunday you're not playing.
Yeah, and
that is wrong.
In their division, only first and second place teams got in.
But that is wrong. Okay, if you've earned an automatic qualifier, you should be in.
It's not an automatic qualifier if you're not automatically qualified.
And I know Rob Wygod, the section commissioner, said that maybe they are looking at a situation where they want to fill the automatic qualifiers first. Which, if that means that they have to move up a division or two to get in, probably so. I think if you ask Roland, they played in Division 10. They said, "Let's go play ball." They want to play for another week. I just try being a coach, Freddie.
Yeah.
On Monday, telling you, we got a playoff bid, but you know what, we got left out.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that they sort of prepared their guys one way or the other. They know, James, those coaches going into the thing, how many pool of teams there are, and that there are scenarios that it may or may not happen. I mean, it's just that's also the division where Pasadena Poly didn't get in because they didn't have a second place.
And we've seen it with Nogales a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Nogales was, at an AQ. They were left out. Something wrong here. We have to. I mean, it's okay. I understand it's one thing. If the at-larges can't get in, you just didn't handle your business. There's not enough room. But when you're an automatic, when you earn a playoff spot, and you're told the doors, the password is no.
Yeah.
It's not good. I don't care for that at all. I'm sorry. Freddie, we got we'll have what, the Friday night, we got the one-stop shop on Friday, right?
One-stop shop on Friday. A lot of games to put together on Friday night. And be paying attention on Twitter because we'll be retweeting, tweeting scores. I'll be at Los Altos, La Serna. James will be at Pasadena, and we'll have people everywhere. So those stories, by midnight, by and large, I put a page together that has the story links of all of the games that we covered, of all of the Friday night quarterfinal scores. So if you're up late, go ahead and take a page, or by the time you wake up in the morning and want to have your coffee, it'll be ready to go.
Or if you're on your way to water polo on Saturday, chances are we may have one or two water polo teams in the finals at Irvine on Saturday. We got tennis going on. We got the tennis finals on Friday. We could have, Freddie, a crossover special. Westridge versus Roland. Oh, wait, Roland make the finals?
See, there you go. So Roland did make the playoffs. It's just a different sport. They may play in a championship after all.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Big games for them though tomorrow though. Both those won't be easy, right?
No, sir. But remember, Westridge was number 1 seed and Roland was number 2. So the seeds hold out, form holds, as we like to say. Guys, we'll be back here next week. Well, I know we're going to be back here next week because at least we're going to have at least one game to talk about, if not more. Have a great week. We'll see you all at the games, and thank you all very much.